Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of AI Amigos Show. My name is Marina, and I'm super happy to have today this episode with my good friend Jan Chao. Hi, Jan. How are
Oh,
you?
fine. Yeah, we get rid of the Spanish guy. Mexican guy.
The
Sorry.
Mexican one, yes. So Spanish speaking is also here. Always present.
Yeah. He is too hardworking, right? Always here, but
Uh,
accidentally he can't really make it tonight. So which is a
in
shame.
in Spanish we would say he is the first of May boy, which means like the Labor's Day.
Yeah,
First.
that's my birthday. That's why I'm always here.
Yeah. Well, but it's super nice to have you. And actually, I think this is the first episode that we are doing alone.
Yeah,
Um, and as you are very into generative AI and all the prompt designing and prompt engineering for different sectors, especially cloud, I think
yeah,
it's a great topic to discuss about Grok 4.
yeah.
And well, what are we expecting now with this new launching?
Yeah, we talked about the Grok before, right? You're talking about how much Elon Musk spent the money to train it and all that sort of stuff, and I was kind of just okay. But this new Grok 4 is out of nowhere, I think, and if you compare to the GPT 4.0, the kind of thinking reasoning model, it has bigger context. Token window is doubled. I think it's 256,000 tokens or something like that. And then the bigger thing is you can just try it. Remember, OpenAI released like new models. You can try one or two times, right? Until you exhaust it or says, oh, it's too many people. But the Grok 4, you can't try it. I tried it. You can't.
I know. It is the same with DeepSeek. If you remember when it was like all the
Yeah,
revolution of DeepSeek,
yeah, yeah,
everyone started using it. It kind of collapsed. It was kind of
yeah.
a traffic jam in there. But at least you could try a bit for
Mm,
free. I know that with Grok we can't, but something that got my attention very badly in the interview that Elon Musk was actually delivering. Well, not the interview, but the intro
mm,
when they were explaining what they were doing, what is expected from Grok, is that he says something like, people think that AI cannot reason, but the reasoning of Grok 4 is a kind of in human power, like multiplying the human power level, but it can reason. And then he mentioned something like Grok 4, it's kind of the best expert, the post grad, and the PhD of everything. Like
mm.
anything that you can think of, like Grok 4 is the PhD of that. Now, I just wonder what of all of that could actually be true, you
I don't
know?
know. That's very good sales pitch. I wanted to buy it
I
now.
know.
But because if you use Grok like interface wise, there's a couple of things I think is quite interesting. In the personnel, they have specifically used like ask a doctor
Mm,
or what was the other one, therapy, and with double quotes on top of it. So they give you the option to ask kind of medical advices, I think, but they
okay.
did put double quotes on it. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm dying to try. But interesting news here. There's two interesting news coming out with Grok 4 the same time. So as you know, the Tesla cars, if you have AMD chip, I think they start rolling from this month, about 5 days ago, 12th, start rolling Grok Gen AI access into the car already now.
Okay.
Obviously they can't do much. It's a kind of companion at the moment. You can chat to your car and all that sort of stuff. But that's quite interesting. Nobody else is doing that. And yeah, and the other thing, I think the Grok is the only currently, I think it's the only Gen AI company right now. Tesla has government contracts. I think the government purchased about paid about 200 million, had a contract with Grok. So that's something.
Of course it is.
Interesting.
And actually imagine this situation, right? So that you are driving and then you ask, okay, so tailor my CV according to my experience, blah, 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 whatever. And you can get it done while you are going back home, let's say from somewhere. It's kind of crazy when you think about that, or asking questions, or even, if you're a new driver, a new
Yeah,
driver, so you can keep asking questions like, or what can I do or what I cannot do in the in the traffic. It's kind
yeah,
of crazy to imagine that, right?
yeah. I mean, like, imagine maybe you can connect the Grok in your car. You can do work as well. You can say, okay, let me read me through those documentation or something like that. You could, yeah,
Yes.
sure. And then now you could,
Well,
and
but the thing is, how like it's really tough that we cannot really try it, or at least on
I
laptop,
know, yeah,
because we could actually give like a better understanding on what's going on. I even remember, Santiago, that the first person that talked about Grok with me in the very beginning, like we were still like master students, were
uh-huh,
you told me like, look, I found this this tool, and it was, we were started talking about generative AI. It was like the very very beginning of this.
yeah,
We try kind of the first version of that, and then from that moment till now, it really improved so much. So
yeah.
I cannot even imagine, with this Grok 4, how good it could be. Now, something that really also triggers me is, how could it have all the information? So did Elon Musk actually hire professionals in all the areas to review the content,
Hmm.
to give information? It's hard, no?
Yeah, I know, but we have to try it. I mean, like, what I'm looking into, I think Grok right now has a better position than OpenAI. The reason saying is, we see the last 2 or 3 months, the progress of Gemini. Now Gemini is everywhere. Is so interesting to use inside the
Yes.
Google system, right? Like every day I go into the meeting, there will be Gemini on the side, basically help me catching up the meeting if I'm a couple minutes late and tell me what's going on before I joined. And then the email part, you can write any email integrated in the system, right? That's where other company doesn't have, which is OpenAI and Claude. They rely on customers integrate their system into others. They don't have the ecosystem. So Grok has ecosystem. It has an X platform, and it also right now has a Tesla thing.
Yes. Yes.
So they have a massive ecosystem. We can see it. They they control the user data, right? That's the things they can use it to
Well,
train it.
Google as well. So,
Yeah,
in a sense, imagine like everyone who is using Google for any
yeah,
reason, searching, etc. Like the browser, even if you use the Chrome, so then
yeah,
Google really has the data.
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of competitive edge over OpenAI, right? And then OpenAI can says, oh, I want to train more data, but Google says, I'm not selling you the data, right?
Of course
So
not. And even more for this purpose, right? So then why would they?
yeah, and the other thing is kind of funny within the world at the moment now. It just kind of align with how the Gen AI developing and all that. There's an interesting company called Windsurf, kind of like Lovable, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a company produce vibe coding or produce a website. You can describe what you want, and then right. So OpenAI wanted to buy it, but it didn't. It couldn't buy it because OpenAI has connection with Microsoft. Microsoft has Copilot. It
I
says
know. I
you
know.
can't buy. They have a connection with the signing contracts that you can't buy anything with the same competitive IP as Microsoft, so they couldn't buy it. And the other company comes in. Um, I forgot the name. Um, is it Google or someone says, I don't want to buy the company. I want to buy the two co-founders and a 40 research employee engineers. I pay you such amount of money. I want to buy you. I don't want a company. This is never heard of. It just to see
No.
how valuable is the AI engineers at the moment who actually doing the work and produce the models. Like, they are
Totally.
commodity
No,
at the
no,
moment.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, there was a similar story with Apple as well,
Hmm.
that they really wanted to buy the service of an executive.
Yeah.
And then this kind of stuff we never heard before. Now, the thing is, okay, they buy your services, but if I am making a deal with them, like let's say if I am in their shoes, I will ensure that they pay me some kind of money that I will never need to work again, because I assume that they would use my knowledge, and with the
Hmm.
products you've developed, well, maybe I'm actually
Yeah,
gone.
that's what I mean. They bought the whole employees left the company. They don't want the
Yes, yes,
company.
yes.
They
Yeah,
pay a
yes.
billion or
But
two
this is what I
billion
said. If I
employees.
was the employee, I would try to ensure that, because how would that then later on they can keep you? Maybe they don't. Maybe
Well,
they
would
don't
you
need you
really
anymore.
work when you get a billion euro? Do you know what I mean? How much you can get?
Yeah, I know. Well, so I think this is what I need more or less to buy a house in Stuttgart, though. But
There you go. There you go.
no,
It's
but seriously, this is I think this is changing the game, and also now OpenAI wants to release another version. But would you point at something super interesting, Chantal?
mm,
OpenAI doesn't really have all the data that maybe Gemini and Grok could have. By
mm,
the way, I see that we have some viewers in today. So then, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment. We would like to hear from you and to interact with you. Um, and going back to that, Jean-Charles, something that I am thinking is, for example, with Gemini, that now
yeah,
they integrated this with Google. So then when
yeah,
users are searching whatever, so you have a
yeah,
first answer, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, you mentioned Microsoft has Copilot. Now, if you use Microsoft Edge, for example, it takes multiple screenshots of your screen, and it can help you through whatever you're going. So then it's something that you can also imagine. I cannot imagine how will be the integration of Grok with the automotive industry. Apart from whatever is already there, like the
yeah,
sensors and everything that is already
yeah.
happening.
Well, they're the cutting edge guys, right? They're already. I think I remember I wrote the kind of post on LinkedIn way back about half a year back, just the start of the year, talking about the FSD 12. So that's already landed. There's a lot of people reported that this really good experience because remember they deleted about 300,000 lines of code. So it's end to end, basically
Yes.
the end to end. There's no like hard coding what you should do and all that sort of stuff. So the speed now is should be a lot faster. But the hard things we know in the Gen AI software is hard to evaluate when you release it. So what I mean by that is, let's say is output. I release the software, and the output is oh, I like to do blah 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 certain things. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard to write test cases to test that. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't know when your application might fail. So this is a hard bit. And not like a traditional software. It's kind of like, oh, I if the output this word, okay, I know it's right. So my unit test or whatever passes. So this is the hardest bit. It's not like 0 to 100 now. It's 70%, is that okay? Or 80%, is that okay? So that's the hardest bit. So that's probably why they wanted to put the Grok as a companion at the moment in the car, but not doing too much.
Well, so this is the thing. So you can have it as a companion, but is it not distracting you? I mean, I
Oh no,
compare it with talking on the phone. That this
yeah.
is something that was banned for many years, right?
I
So
mean,
then,
yeah, true. Like if I have kids and my wife in there, I'm not gonna be talking to that. I had enough entertaining from them, I would say.
yeah. So imagine that you put in and say, okay, so start, I don't know, playing some games with my kids. So then
Mm.
they don't ask me how long more, you know,
Yeah, but yeah, I like
how much
the
left.
whole yeah, the whole the whole lot of company what Elon Musk could do kind of we have to look differently because his goal is to uh, um, move us to Mars, right? So that's what I think. So initially, you can't really have people work there. You need a robot. So you need to have a power source, so solar panel, and
Hmm.
you needed to have some AI to adjust to manage all the robot there to work there. That's why he made the Grok, and then the autonomous driving. It's kind of like a whole ecosystem for for uh, for him to send something over there to Mars and make it work first before we go in there. So that's what I think. It's just big thought.
Well, so then, but actually, it's not that crazy because recently I read in a magazine here in Germany that there is an idea of placing all the data centers in Mars
Hmm.
or in the Central Space Station, because here, of course, like we are, spoiling the planet with all the climate change and all the energy consumption and everything,
Yeah,
and the of course they create a lot of heat for these data centers now because of it's like the temperature goes high. So and there are even discussions on how to store these data centers outside our planet, which was something that maybe 50 years ago we have never imagined, even like in the head. So
yeah,
it's something
that's
it's something
very
that
cool.
when you think of that. So
Yeah,
I think that it would be hard to do the maintenance, right?
yeah, yeah. If you are a data center engineer, you have to go to Mars. There you go. And yeah, and then the latency of that, right? Is a couple of minutes latency.
But the worst is that I don't really think at this point that it's impossible. I
Mm,
mean, nowadays people are using generative AI for absolutely everything. I
mm,
remember a couple of episodes ago we talked about this article from MIT that said, "Oh, if you use ChatGPT, it will make you stupid," or well, Grok or any generative AI, right? But the
mm,
point is, and we actually reached the conclusion that okay, but it's not exactly like that. So what it means is
mm.
that you are not really using your capacity to think about everything. And now, um, my point is, if you are driving and your car is autonomous, so then what happens if there are hallucinations with Grok 4 in the integration? Is it actually integrated to the function of the car, or is it just to talk to you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, just talking to you as a companion, it doesn't do any functions in the car. Doesn't.
Well, but this is what is happening now, but we don't know what will happen in future. I mean,
All right.
the,
Yeah.
the main goal, the main idea, I assume, is that this technology advances much more than now,
Yeah.
and it is going in a kind of a fast
Yeah.
pace.
Yeah. It can
So
hallucinate. I'm a plant. Maybe it flies. But 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 jokes aside, yeah, it is a real risk, right? Yeah.
it is, yes. No, I know that. I know that. I mean, I am amazed by this. I really want to see how it works. I would love to have, like a car that I could actually talk to and see, how it goes.
Hmm.
Um, just to feel the experience, right? So then it's something that
Yeah.
I feel at this point is very unique and it would be like
Yeah.
super great to try it. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's scary because what I think is okay, so what if the integration later will be with the functions of the car? So what
Yeah.
happens when it hallucinates? Or will we be able to reduce or to eliminate the hallucinations
Yeah.
entirely? This is another point.
Yeah, it also raised another question on the car manufacturers. They have to put in different safe kind of safe equipment inside. For example, this is uh, like I know l- like in the Tesla they have a hard open kind of pin you put you don't because the open the door isn't like handle anymore, it's just button, right? So what if the button goes wrong? What if like some AI stuff goes wrong? And and then in China there's a lot of electric car have this kind of hidden handles and with button closed, and the crash they're on fire and can't open it. That's just a
Oh,
sad thing, right? So there's a whole different level of security and then safety components needed to go in as well. Yeah,
well, I really would like to try Grok 4, but also recently, and this is something that was kind of viral as well on social media,
yeah,
was that in different cases, people try with generative AI platforms saying, okay, so I will disconnect you, and then the machine react and
Uh-huh.
said, okay, no, I will tell, I don't know, your boss that you want to quit the job, or I will tell your wife, whatever, so then kind of treating the people. And
Uh-huh.
then what I'm thinking is, okay, so if that's the situation, imagine if you have it in your car and something goes wrong.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is yeah, this is interesting, right? It
And you start
also
fighting.
Yeah, and also the Grog. I was looking into the documentation. I think it is the one right now, and it says like enterprise security with SOC 2, GDPR, CCPA, all that sort of stuff. I mean, all the other ones. At least I know. I look into the OpenAI because my company used to thinking about using OpenAI, but it's very blurry on this lines, and that could be why the Grok actually get the government contract. But by saying that, that's just written on the paper. We don't know what's really happening underneath it, right?
Of course,
Yeah.
yes. So then it's
Like,
what we read, but not what we tried.
yeah, you might you might have a situation in the future. Your car kind of blackmail you. I know what you wanted to do. You can't go there. I was like, oh
I
shit.
know where you went.
Yeah. Uh, Give me another new battery pack. Otherwise, I'm gonna tell your wife. Oh, that's
Well,
not good.
I don't think that we are actually like super far from that. But
Yeah.
so then something that really gets so my attention is this thing, if we really get, for example, some equipment, some things like in another planet, as you said,
Mm,
because all the integration, as you mentioned, so the direction is, okay, let's try to move stuff to Mars, so then we also have another place to stay, to live, whatever.
yeah.
um
I feel
how
like everything he does is kind of is trying to close a circle. What he needs, what what he needs before human arriving Mars, right? All whatever he's doing is all. I feel like is all for Mars at the moment.
and well, it's actually a good point. It's actually a good
Yeah.
point, and maybe there are many people who are not considering that. The point is like, who will want to go to Mars? Himself?
Nobody initially, right? That's the whole point. That's
That's
why
the
he built the
point.
robots
Yeah,
and everything
it
and
is
sent it over.
dangerous anyway. But
Yeah.
even if you send the robots and the robots survive, and they, so everything is working autonomously, and then you can watch the videos, it's kind of a very tough decision to say, okay, we go to Mars, unless you are, I don't know, like a super adventurous person and super young or super old, that you say, okay, I live my life, I don't need anything else.
Yeah, I
So
don't
there
think that
you
would.
go,
Like I mean, like a global warming is a bit better now. Did you see the news couple a month or 2 months back? It says like iceberg was actually growed about 2 meters this year or something like that. So yeah, so it was we revert. We still get a hot weather, but the ice is growing back.
well, then go. So then people cannot blame us. Always when I talk about Grok, for example, or OpenAI, or all the advances that are going on, people tell me, oh no, because of you nobody will have jobs anymore.
Hmm.
And I don't know how true that is.
Hmm.
Even Elon Musk mentioned a couple of times that in future, AI will be the one that will do the coding. So then software developers will not be useful or employed anymore. It's hard for me to imagine. Okay, so then what kind of economy we will run if nobody will have a job?
Um, I don't know. I don't think from my side it is anytime. So I use those on a daily basis to code and all that. It's a whole lot of instruction you have to give. Maybe it's because I'm doing like creating scripts. Other than I know a lot of software developers, or at least junior ones, they're not gonna get a chance straight away when you go into the company to write up code to put in the production system. You might
Mhm.
start with to fixing code, right? So that part of the job might be replaced, but I don't see the possibility at the moment to replace. Maybe I didn't use Grok 4, but Maybe that's
Yes,
why.
you see, haven't worked with the PhD, the PhD
Yeah,
of
yeah. And
everything.
like their pricing point is not too bad. If you pay it yearly, it was $300. If you pay monthly, it was 30. That's a pro license. But once you go another level, that's quite a lot higher, I think. Yeah, it was three
And
grand or
do
something.
we know? I don't have this information, so maybe you do. Who are the primary target audience for Grok for?
I don't know. I don't
Well, I
really.
don't really know because OpenAI was kind of directing everybody.
Mm,
Gemini is mostly working with startups that are implementing generative AI or so.
mm,
I'm not sure about Grok. So then I know that they are trying in Tesla, so they integrated in Tesla, but I
yeah.
don't think that they are open to actually sell it to, I don't know, another brand, let's say Audi or autonomous cars.
Yeah, the API start to release now. You can try it out. I think the API is free. I haven't tried it. You have some API free to try with, maybe a rate. But the console, the four, you have to pay kind of price. And they have a small model, medium model, a mini model as well. They're not too bad from per million token. And they used to be it's still integrated with X, right? Maybe they just have better model. It says, okay, let's sell it or something. Yeah, I mean,
Yes, so then because I'm wondering, okay, so then the promotion was great, the speech was great, like what we expect is fantastic. Who is the target? Because I'm sure that it is not kind of super human like you and me.
mm,
So then
well,
I expect that he wants to direct the efforts where the money is actually.
yeah, I mean, like if we don't release this, the Grab, like you said, audience or users, right? He's gonna lose majority of the market share. It's like this space is. Let's think about how many people are still using ChatGPT, right?
Ah,
Because that's the first one come out. They just kind of ignored all the rest of them, and now get locked in the ecosystem. So yeah, this is kind of the strategy. Once AI is started, you get the majority of the market share. It's hard to kind of still lose that market share. You might lose 1 or 2%, but it's harder for later people to come in to grab that market share because
totally. No, 100%. But this is why we talk about the advantage, right? So then that Gemini has Google, so then there is
yeah,
an access to the
yeah,
users. And even if I just do any simple Google search, I see how Gemini is working. So then imagine if I have, I don't know, a company, it can say, oh, like we can actually implement Gemini because it's pretty good. It's actually checking within the information. If
yeah,
you have for example, ChatGPT or OpenAI that you're using for daily basis, write my email, do this, do that, then you have something to compare with, right?
yeah,
But they don't really have the data, the real data that people are using frequently. That
yeah.
Elon Musk has an advantage on this because they know what users are using Grok for when they are using their cars with Tesla.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Google knows what the users are looking for when people are using the Chrome browser. OpenAI doesn't have this information. They have what people are interested on, but they don't really get exactly, the behavior, I think.
Yeah, no, you're correct. They don't get it. I mean, yeah, they just wanted to. I think Elon just wanted to publish, kind of push the Grok out there, get people using it because right now you still can use Grok 3 for free. You can generate photos.
I know.
You can
It's
also,
fantastic. For
yeah,
coding, I think it's the best. It's
yeah.
much better than OpenAI.
And yeah, and I haven't tried yet, but I was using Cursor a lot. I use Google Gemini quite a bit. Maybe I can select the Grok in there. I think they have it. Yeah, to try out. Yeah.
Yes, why not? That would be great. So my last question for you, Jan, because I would like to close this with a very interesting question here
Uh-huh.
related to where do you think that Elon Musk is actually going to? Because you said I think that all the efforts are to close the cycle to go to Mars. So my question here is, do you think that the launch of Grok 4 it's more kind of advertising to keep going towards that direction, and he doesn't really care about how much money he can make in the market? or do you think that Grok really wants to compete with OpenAI for daily uses?
Well, like, I mean, Elon has enough money. I do think, I do, I do think he doesn't care about losing money here. To be honest, because he is the only Tesla is the only company who has the data to train their full FSD system as a software, right? Is using vision to drive other than lidars. So
True.
they're very close to become the only company at the moment to have this. Once that is the software as a service, it will be every car company will rent that service to put on their car because that's the cheapest they can go for, other than they develop themselves. And I mean, I see plenty cars in China with self-driving, but most of them has more global data. All that is Tesla. So I still think the Grok itself, it has bigger use for him. I would say he just don't want it to lag behind. This is maybe a later on. It's an AI kind of autonomous system, kind of really like what do you call it, the Skynet we're talking about back then in the movies. That could be his
Yeah.
ultimate goal. We don't know. To manage jobs in Mars or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
True. Well, thank you, Jan. It was a great conversation, actually. I really enjoy it. Let's see what is happening and what OpenAI is actually launching afterwards, because
Yeah.
I don't think that the game is actually ending here.
No.
Um, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you next week. Have a great one.
Bye now.
Bye.
I